So you're not gonna start. It's not like that.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast. Your favorite Caribbean food podcast. Oh yeah. And today we are joined with a very, very special guest. The last third of Kerri's committee.
I haven't heard that name.
Miss Kerri Bell.
Hello.
My name is Kerri.
I'm so very fly. Oh my, it's a little bit scary.
Oh!
So yes,
This is why the three of us cannot spend too much time.
spend too much time. Watch this episode be long. Yes, my name is Kerri Bell. I was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, and then I moved to the United States for school when I was 18 years old, where I attended Vassar College. That's where Tiana and I became close.
Yes.
And then I stalked her friend Ashley. And told Tiana that Ashley and I need to be friends. And then the Kerri's committee was born, essentially.
Yes.
Iconic summer 2016.
One great night at the great TGI Fridays. Of course, you know, food is what brought us all together.
Oh, for sure.
And alcohol.
Yeah, so Kerri is a very near and dear friend of both Ashley and I. And so, you know, she come down for like a vacation. So I said, I'm going to get her like a feature up on the podcast.
And here I am.
There you are.
Yes. So today we will be talking about something that I feel like since the start of the podcast, I feel like a lot of people have been expecting us to talk about it. It's something that comes up in my conversations with a lot of you guys on WongaGyal. So we will be talking about body image and its relationship to food in the Caribbean. And of course, this is chronicling our very distinct experiences as Jamaican women. This is, I'm not gonna lie guys, this episode named Vibes. Never really come with too much.
You know, you never have to tell them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's alright. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I didn't really do a lot of research for this one because I just feel like it is, well, I mean, Ashley and Kerri did research, so we'll have some sort of research, but I just felt like it's a very personal topic for me, and I know as women growing up in Jamaica, it is also a very personal topic for both Ashley and Kerri, and I can imagine it's a personal topic for a lot of you guys listening, so I figured, you know, just vibes for this one.
Just speak from the heart.
Just speaking from the heart for this one. I think the best way for us to start this off would be just giving some context behind what were maybe our experiences growing up in Jamaica and dealing with body image. I don't know, you guys want me to go first?
As I was saying, you should just start.
Alright, so, you know, in Jamaica, and for anybody who is not from Jamaica and is listening to this, I feel like the female body is something that it's put on display a lot in Jamaican society. People talk about it a lot. There's just a lot of focus in the wider, and not even in a sexual way. I just feel like the female body, and maybe not just even female, but just body weight in general, is looked under a microscope in the terms of like society. Like everybody is watching who put on weight and who lose weight and who put on muscle and who look like them hungry and whatever. And this particular episode, I feel like, is special to me because body image is something that I have always struggled with growing up. Like, I was never skinny. I was always a little chubby, to the point where one of my uncles, his nickname for me was actually Chubby growing up. And, you know, couple that with the fact that I was really into sports. So I grew up dancing. There was a point in time where I would swim competitively. I used to play netball at one point in my life. I was on the track team for a hot minute. But I was never. Girl, I was captain of the netball team in prep school. Don't hate.
Is it because there was no one else?
No, we had a big team, and I was center. So I was the little
Oh,
one.
you were the girl.
I was the girl, the one who would run up and down. I covered the entire court.
You said our
I'm done.
Except the goal circles. Anyways, so, it was one of those things where I felt like my body was something that was always kind of like a topic of discussion because I was doing all of these sports, especially as I, went into puberty. And while I was going through puberty, I was always on the stage because I was a big dancer, and that's when like my dance life really took off, I think, when I started growing breasts and bottom. And so I felt like it was just something that was always a topic of discussion for me. I was always on a diet. Like, I can't tell the last time that I just ate what I wanted to eat because I felt like there was just always pressure from myself, of course, but also from family members and just from the general society about what I should be eating, how my body should look. As I grew older, I realized that not everywhere in the world is like that. Like, not everywhere in the world is it common to greet people talking about their weight. And I learned that when I went to college abroad. I felt like my 4 years at Vassar nobody spoke to me about my weight. Like, nobody commented on the fact that I was gaining weight. Nobody really said anything, and it almost was like liberating in a sense. But then I came home, and I would be always so anxious to come home because I knew that I gained weight, and I knew that people were gonna comment on it. And so, it's kind of like this weird little bit of experiencing both. And so that's kind of like my background, my context in dealing with this is just something that I've always struggled with and something that I still struggle with. And
women in general, we go through so many different stages in our lives, and you're 11, 12, 13, you're starting to go through puberty, and as you said, the female body is somewhat always under the microscope no matter what age you are, because you're judged based on how you look, based on how you dress, and then you just don't stop going through that no matter what age you reach. You go through puberty, you reach 18 years old, now you're an adult, and they look at you to see whether or not you have an adult body versus a child's body, and then how you progress after that, whether you gain weight or you lose weight, as you rightfully said earlier. So like for me personally, I was small, not just in height, just body wise, I have no breasts. Like, it just
Ashley did name Batty Queen back in the day.
Yeah, but somebody said to me, funny enough, back then, they're like, you probably wouldn't have a noticeable bottom if you didn't have some breasts. So, and it was also probably noticeable because I'm short too, So I was relatively small throughout, and then reached fifth form, and I don't know what happened. I just started to bust out of my uniform. I remember I get uniform in September, I couldn't wear it back in January because it never fit. And then my weight fluctuated so bad since then. I lost a whole lot of weight. I will never forget one of our friends. One random day in sixth form, he was like, Ashley, remember when your body did nice and big? A weight gone. You don't have no body again. And I was like, damn. So the one thing that people didn't notice about me is just not there anymore. So I'm just, small stick can disappear, And then got to university, and I kind of suffered through, I wouldn't say it was like separation anxiety, but more of a social anxiety thing. I was thrown into an environment that I wasn't 100% comfortable in, and I just wasn't eating, and I lost a lot more weight then. And then I just gained it all back, plus more. I'm currently the heaviest I've ever been. And
that second puberty.
I hate her.
So hold
That
on now. I'm so happy you mentioned that, because this is something I've been talking a lot about, just like with you and with my students. I tell you, when you reach 18 years old, you think that this is where it ends, but no one talks about the 25-year-old puberty. Nobody talks about the fact that you wake up one day randomly and out of nowhere you don't recognize yourself. Not just physically, just how you feel. You're not the same, and you have to readjust to that. And I think people don't consider those things when they judge your body.
Yeah.
No.
People don't think about the fact
agree.
that this girl is going through so much and you will never understand. And you see her weight fluctuating, but as soon as you see her, the first thing you have to say is, Jano, you get fatty.
But it's funny that you said that also, because as you mentioned, people don't think about, oh, what's going on? Like, she must be having so much. It's what are you eating?
What are you eating?
It's always what are you eating? Like, there was a time when I came home from college and I was at my grandma's house. And this baffles me because my grandma wants to feed. And then gets offended if you don't eat.
Typical
I go to her
Jamaican
house.
grandmother.
I've gained weight. I've come home from college. I've gained weight. Her first thing, what are you eating? And I'm like, I'm eating food. I'm not eating anything different. And that's what baffled me about college is that I didn't think my eating was terrible.
I also didn't think my eating was terrible.
And I was active, but I was still gaining weight.
Boy, somewhat, that's American food. If
I don't
one thing,
Yeah, it's
with that, you see that hibernation period in winter. It's true. It is very true.
But I think it's like a mixture of a lot of things because when you think about it, yes, you're away for college and you're eating probably similar to your usual diet, but just different types of food. But you also recognize that you're getting older. Your body is digesting
well, that's
food
the thing that I
differently.
think a lot of people don't recognize.
Yeah, and that's the part that I don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, you realize that I'm not
Like
18, I'm
you
not
just
19.
don't burn as much calories.
I'm
as
25 years
1.5
old and I don't want to do anything but be horizontal because I'm tired all the time and I'm not as active as I used to be because I don't have the energy.
But
right?
even the ease of which that, like, I come home and I go gym in the summers. I lost my freshman 15 in one summer.
Oh, yeah?
My junior year, I gained weight after I went abroad. I come home and I maybe lost 8 pounds. Working out even more and eating even better.
It gets harder.
Like, it just gets harder.
Metabolism
so
slows down as time passes.
I've been saying it. I
And
feel
it
like your body
sucks.
just betray you.
Yeah,
I've treated my body
that's
so
the best
good.
way. That's the
I
best way
treat
to
my
do
and
it.
I've been saying it. Not just my body, but my skin as well. I eat healthy. I try to be as active as I need to be. And then the belly just sit down upon the counter when I lean over for brush my teeth. Why? Already I bent over to brush my teeth. I'm sitting belly upon the counter, and I was like, "What are you doing?" There's no reason for you to be here, right? But you know, and as I said, people will see you and they judge you. And Kerri is right. The first thing they assume is that you're eating more, you're eating less, which is why you look different. But they don't consider everything else that kind of forces you to either eat more or less. And sometimes you're eating the same amount and your body does betray you.
Because it can be other
Yeah.
things. It can be medication. You can have an illness. There can be so many factors that go
And then,
into.
coupled with the fact that we're in the age of social media where everybody is so excited about putting their bodies on display, and that's fantastic because I'm all for liberation, and whatever you think that looks good to you, then that's fantastic and I'm going to support you. But then if somebody who doesn't look like what the norm looks like decides to, you know, embrace their new body, embrace what they find to be attractive, you get judged for it, you know, because it doesn't fit the ideal standard of what social media says you're supposed to look like at 25 years old. What am I supposed to look like at 25 years old?
Yeah.
We're basically the same age and all three of us look so different.
Yeah.
You could have never assumed that the three of us could have grown up in a similar household, have a similar diet, do similar exercises, have similar routines.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
even you posted something the other day where you're just like, if we all ate the same thing and like exercise the same amount, we'd still all look different.
Yeah.
Because again, you have to think about factors like genetics and the way that your body is built. Like,
Our genetics play a huge role.
for some
It's
people,
true.
when you start to gain weight, you might see it in your belly first. For somebody else, it might be your arms. For somebody else, it might be your legs. You know, like we all carry weight so differently.
And just
also.
like how when you're losing weight, you lose it in different places when you start to exercise. And I think what's worse, at least on my side, I just feel like men have it so easy. And this is not the feminism coming out of me. It's really and truly just based on observation. Man will weigh 300 pounds and then decide that I'm not going to eat for 1 week and going on the gym for 2 days and then weigh 150 by the end of the month, and I don't like it.
That is true. That is true.
And
I'm not gonna
I-
lie. Even today, literally just today, I saw somebody. I won't say his name. I'm very proud of him for the journey that he is on, but he has lost so much weight in 2 months. And when I say so much weight, I mean drastic difference. What was once a belly is no more. And I'm like, even when I'm going super hard in the gym and I feel like I'm eating well, I don't think my body would ever react that drastically in the span of 2 months. I was like, this is just unfair.
Me, I can start take testosterone.
Yo,
I have thought about that. I'm not gonna lie. It
Because
run across my
the
mind a couple
estrogen now work
times.
for
no,
me.
the estrogen is
It
not
run across
supportive
my-
at all.
And that's like that is is just so wrong. Like,
it's not that it's wrong, it's just unfair, because I feel like people just don't consider the fact that we're biologically different.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that we as women, even the thought would even cross our minds to take testosterone.
Because we're so desperate.
Because we so desperately want to be so small. Because we so desperately want to fit in. And I'm not gonna lie, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. You know how when people say things like they're not losing weight for anybody else, they're losing weight for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I do think about the validity of that statement, because I mean, of course, I know a lot of people go on the health kick because they want to be healthier on the inside. Being healthy on the inside, I think, is way more important than how
Just
you
looking
look
healthy.
on the outside. But sometimes I just wonder, like, are you really, like, do you really want to deprive yourself of a lot of the foods that you love and maybe the lifestyle that you really love because you want to look skinnier, or are you doing that because you want to be able to enjoy the privileges of skinny people? And who gives those privileges? Society. It's other people.
People they probably don't even think about it.
Yeah, I know that, which is why it's been on my mind, because it's just something that, like, I mean, I know it's easy. Of course, nobody would ever, in my opinion, admit that they're losing weight for other people, or changing their lifestyle for other people, or trying to change your body for other people. But sometimes I wonder, like, have we convinced ourselves that vanity is for ourselves and it has nothing to do with other people? Because sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, would I be so concerned about my weight if there was no conversation about it?
Well, you make a good point, because let's think about it. It's a behavior, right? All behaviors are learned.
Mm-hmm.
We're rewarded when we lose weight and when we look good. And then when you gain weight, you get the comments of, oh, you get fatty, or you put on weighty, or these things that make you feel bad. Or even if the tone that statement comes off with in comparison to, wow, you've lost so much weight, you look so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so different that we're now learning that it's good to lose weight and it's bad to gain weight from a young age.
Yeah.
So we're being rewarded for restricting ourselves and what have you to lose the weight, and then, for lack of a better word, punished for putting on the weight when it could be just a natural thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm glad you say it's a natural thing, because I don't see how my diet has been different over the years, but I have effortlessly just gained all of this weight. I will lose it when I do nothing at all too. So that have a lot to do with what you're going through at certain times, and you know, you not intentionally skipping meals, but it happens, and I'm not in the gym and I'm not gaining, but then my body just do what the hell it feel like doing, you know. And like, even the point you were making earlier about are we really doing this for ourselves? I have come to terms with the belly. To be honest, the pants them don't fit me anymore, and I'm a size bigger than I was. But I love my big woman body. That's what I refer to it as. I feel grown up. I feel like this is a good size to be at my age. Every now and again I'll frown because the belly not that pleasant to look at, but it's my own, and whoever is enjoying my body with me is fine with it. And other times it's like I will see things online and I'm just like, maybe I should be working out more. And I try to work out at least once a week, whatever that looks like to me. I'm not gonna run up and down on Palisados. I'm not going up Mountain Spring. I'm not doing it because my first emotion is lazy, and that's so I will put on some resistant bands and go walk around the pool, and then we'll go swim a couple laps afterwards. And I refer to it as me being active versus me exercising, because it seems less intimidating that way. But that's probably just a mind thing. And if the belly don't leave and I desperate later on, we get some liposuction, put the fat in my breast, and everybody happy, you know? Just do a little sculpting, right? But I'm glad I brought up the whole sculpting thing too, because a lot of people have been, at least what I've noticed, I'm all for body positivity and I'm all for surgery. I'm pro surgery. If you want surgery,
I am also pro
and
surgery.
you have the money, go for it, because I'm probably gonna do it too.
Yeah.
But
if you want somebody to talk you out of surgery, do not come to anybody here.
No, because we are for the surgery.
I am not for the surgery. actively talking my sister out of it.
No, Christine.
That is wild.
Do you, girl?
I am for the surgery.
Honestly, as long as it's something that's going to make you happy.
BBLs have the highest mortality rate.
If I win the
long as
lotto
it's
tomorrow, if I win the lotto tomorrow,
on the table,
and you see me next month, just know what happened. Don't ask me no question because you know what happened.
What
you know
the 360 lipo.
Yeah, just.
I'm going.
I don't want a BBL. I just would like to lose. Yeah, it's just like what I want. Just a little. Just like a sock.
Oh my god!
That wasn't a sock. That was a slurp.
You know what that was?
I don't even remember the point.
Well, I have a thought. I like that you mentioned big woman body because I feel like weight, or rather size, and what is acceptable and not acceptable also varies with age. So for example, babies. Everybody love fat babies.
I love a
and it's
baby.
like, wow, that baby's eating so well. That's an indication that a baby is healthy.
Yeah.
When it's, for lack of a better word, a fat baby.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a skinny baby, oh, you're not feeding it enough, or da-da-da-da, and everyone is criticizing you. You grow up now and you become a child, a little chubby child, problems. Chubby teenager, problems.
Because they said that you don't shed your baby weight and you still have on your
exactly,
baby weight.
Exactly. Then you might hit a point in puberty where you lose some weight and you're starting to slim out a little bit. And then we get to this age of childbearing. And if you're too skinny, it's she don't have childbearing hips, she can't carry no picnic. Mm-hmm. So you want a girl that has a little bit more weight, a little bit more meat on her bones, because that's attractive to you as it relates to childbearing.
But then after pregnancy, you vex when the bigger woman, the woman with the hips, the woman with the fat, who is more prone to keeping fat on her, una vex when she can't lose back the weight, and then what wanna do? Go find young skinny girl and divorce her.
Jesus, you're so hurt.
Yo, this conversation went left so quick.
I'm just saying.
Wait, are you talking about someone?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not talking about anyone.
I was like, you have drama to share?
It's something that, like, as you were starting to talk about it, I just feel like it's just so... It just sucks. Especially as a woman. Because I feel like, as a man, you're a chubby baby, you're a chubby child. First of all, the likelihood of you losing weight during puberty is much greater than for a woman.
I was about to say that is true, because I feel like for girls, when you get to that age, it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10 is if you were already putting on weight, you're going to just gain more.
Yeah.
But for guys, it almost never goes in that direction. And them always just shoot up in the air and just get skinny.
Yeah, and so I feel like for guys, like, after puberty, it's kind of like, I don't want to say smooth sailing because that is not the reality, but in terms of feeling like you're under a microscope, I feel like it's smoother. I feel like after puberty, you are now in control of your body. If you want to eat whatever you want and get round, that's your business. If you want to go to the gym and get a sculpted body, that's your business.
And I feel like whichever one you choose is just always acceptable regardless.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you think about body image, a man's body never comes to mind.
It almost never comes to mind.
Like it just, and then you have people who will say, oh, him belly big, he must have money. Because the belly signifies the wealth. But when I have money, when I have a belly, I can't just rich too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like you have all of that on the male side, and then for women, I just feel like it's just never ending. I genuinely feel like the conversation around body size is never ending, because you start hearing it the minute you get out of babyhood. You start hearing you need to lose weight or you need to put on weight. Why are you so mager? Why are you so chubby? Stop eat food or eat more food or whatever. You get into your teenage years, and to be honest, puberty is one hell of a ride. You don't even know what the hell is going on half time, and your body just kind of grows and stretches in whatever way it feels like. Then, as we said earlier, you go through the second puberty, which boy, oh boy, that's when your metabolism really starts to slow down. And then you have to go through pregnancy. So it's like, honestly, like, I feel like it just sucks because you could do all of this work to get this nice chisel physique,
and then the man breed you,
and then you just get pregnant, and that is just that. Like, there's a possibility of your abs separating.
Yep.
There's
teeth falling out.
Like, there are just so many things that could go wrong after. Well, not wrong, but so many ways that your body changes after puberty. I mean, after pregnancy and
puberty.
You
know, even though you bring up all of those, you know, significant stages of life where we look at the first puberty, we look at the second puberty, and then we look at, you know, the journey of pregnancy and what pregnancy does to you during the pregnancy, during delivery, and after pregnancy. But then, what about the simple things like your period on a monthly basis?
That's true.
No, listen,
because
you don't
I
recognize yourself.
Feel like a balloon on my period all the time.
I sent Tiana a video once of my belly being bloated in the mirror, and I was like 4 months pregnant, and it like I was so depressed about it because I was like, why would I wake up on this morning when I have to get up and be in public and go out and see people for work and my belly look like this in front of me and I can't tuck it in, it just bloated.
And you know how I know it sucks? One of my signifiers for when my period is going to start, my period always starts the day after I feel my skinniest.
Really?
Yes. It is like clockwork. Like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, wow, Tiana, you're looking so lemon trim. Next day, period.
That is betrayal. That is the definition of betrayal.
Period, bloating.
The second puberty?
It worse than the first one for me.
She's abroad. She is a trollop.
Facts. She's a trollop.
She's the worst. But yeah, I think as you mentioned, just like these different phases, I think I have a very similar story of body image to yours, Tiana, in that I do remember being skinny. It lasted for 2 minutes. I was born, I was skinny, and then around like 7, 8, I started to put on weight. Lay sour cream and onion chips. And I moved from being in a complex and running up and down outside every evening. But I started to put on weight, and I have a distinct memory of going to my pediatrician once. And my pediatrician, we weren't even in our office, we were in the waiting room. She pulls my mom aside and she said, like, you need to watch what Kerri's eating. And I don't even think I was 10 yet. But hearing that at 10 years old, I think was the start of bigger problems. You're constantly watching what you're eating. And then similar thing, I was in dancing and my body was on display, and
not even just on the stage, like in class as well.
In class, because you have to wear leotards and tights.
Yeah.
So your body is on display. And when I was in prep school, my dance teachers wouldn't really point it out that much because I think, and I don't know if you felt similarly, but I was always like, I know I can dance. I know I'm a good dancer. But it was like, I know I'm a good dancer despite being heavier.
Yeah.
That was always a thing for me of like, you are going to see me on the stage because you're going to expect like a skinny girl next to me to be it, and
no,
she's not it. I'm it.
It's me.
It's me.
I'm it.
So I think that was a thing for me. And then when I did start at a new dance school in high school, when I was still, you know, had my quote-unquote baby weight and chubby, my teacher was constantly pointing it out, and he did love unitard. Love unitards. And he made a comment, I was in maybe grade 7 or 8, and he made a comment to me and this other girl, we're wearing orange unitards that will look like oranges or will look like pumpkins or something like that, and it's so embarrassing
because then they also people. Never say it in private.
They never say it in private. They say it in public, and then they compare it to the skinniest girl in the class, and say, "Oh, she looks so good in the costume." So you're learning these things from so young, and like, as you said, like always dieting, the crazy things I would do.
Same.
I would carry a what do you call them? Like a cereal bar to school and say that's lunch. Because I didn't want to eat a cooked lunch. And I love cooked lunch. I love fried chicken and rice and peas with extra gravy. But I did not want to buy it at school because I knew that it was not, quote unquote, healthy. So I'm just going to starve over here with my Nature Valley.
Yeah. I will say that we won't name names, but the reason that my parents never sent me to where you danced was for that reason.
It was
because I was just a chubby child and clearly a chubby teenager, and my parents did not want to put me through that, even though I was going through it anyway in other forms.
I think that experience is really where
It
my
just messed you
self-image was shattered.
Yeah.
Because it was a similar story. I never went there and was not a good dancer. I went there and was still a fabulous dancer, but because I was not skinny, I'm been afraid to say it, I was denied things.
Yeah.
I was denied that skinny privilege of being able to move up in the levels when I really should have been, or had certain positions in dancing when I really should have been, or whatever, other politics. But if I was skinny and if I looked different, I think it would definitely have been a different story, and I would have a different experience.
As you talk about the eating at school thing, one of the things that I've never really spoken about it before, but it's something that I think I've always felt. I cannot remember a time in my life when I never felt this way, and that is I'm very not just conscious of what I'm eating, but conscious of what everyone else around me is eating. I never want to be the only person in a group that's eating. I could be starving. I don't like it, because I think I've just been, it feels like a lot of times I feel like I'm not supposed to be eating because I may be the biggest one in the room. And I felt that way for a very long time. I remember in first form I was like 12. We were 12 and 13 in first form, and I remember every day for lunch I would just have a can of Coca-Cola. That was it. I had a can of Coca-Cola for lunch every single day for my entire first form. I never ever ate a patty. I never knew the luxury of a PJ's canteen box lunch in first form, because I was afraid, and I still am afraid to this day, that people are going to see me eating and have the thought in their mind, why should I eat so? She don't want to lose weight. Like, look how she big already. Why should I eat? Like, that thought literally is so prevalent in my mind all the time. And as I said, like, I just feel like that just sucks. Like, that's something that has been ingrained in me from so long ago, that, like, and it's a very incorrect way of thinking, that bigger people don't need to eat while smaller people have to be vacuuming food into their mouths. But I think as Jamaican people, Caribbean people, as black people, I think that we have this very strange notion of how people's relationships with food should be because of how they look.
Yes.
Like, fat people deserve to eat too. Like, a bigger person does not have to eat salads every day. Like, and if they want to eat a salad every day, that's their business, and they can go and do that. But like, just because you're bigger doesn't mean that you have to exist in a perpetual state of depravity.
And also, just because you're bigger doesn't mean that you're any less healthy.
Right.
Than someone smaller
Right.
than
I think we said that on the last podcast about, not the last one, the one about mental health.
Yes.
About how people tend to not be concerned about skinny people's health, not even weight, about their health as much because of their size.
What we think healthy looks like.
So it's like somebody with a faster metabolism gets deemed as healthier than someone with a slow metabolism, and there's so much more to health than metabolism.
And I think what's common with the experiences that you guys both have, and something else that I remember another friend experiencing, is that growing up, both of you considered yourself to be bigger than everybody else. You were chubbier, you had the quote-unquote baby weight, and you deprived yourself. You denied yourself food even when it was just something as basic as eating more than a Coca-Cola or having something more than a Nature Valley bar. I have another friend who had a similar experience. He chubby right off the bat from birth till we were first, second form, and he said that he never wanted to deny himself food, but he was denied food from his parents. His parents would say to him that he needs to be working out, swimming 4, 5, 6 days a week, and they never complemented the amount of exercise he was doing with proper food. So he would be exercising all the time, and if him take one bite of a slice of pizza, it would be hell and powder house, right? And every time we would talk about that experience that he had, it made me very sad, because I don't feel like anybody, no matter what age you are, you should be denied food. Yeah. Food is what that basic necessity that everybody needs, not just for sustainability. And I feel like food is so important, and it's so fantastic, and it should never be underappreciated, and people should not be denied it. They should not be deprived of the goodness that is food. And I think a lot of our experiences with food from back then, thinking that you have to deny yourself because you need to fit a certain image, it kind of started with backhanded comments from the people that you're closest to. Not to put anybody on blast, but things like people that you're supposed to look up to for assistance and guidance and guardianship: your dance teacher, your parents, your aunts, your grandparents. These are the people that's supposed to be growing you, nurturing you, and they're the same ones that are going to look at you and be like, you don't think you eat too much food, you don't think you shouldn't be having this, and sometimes I don't blatantly say you're getting fat, don't eat that. Some people will, and I've had so many friends who have had the experience of being deprived food, and it's because their parents thought that was the way that they were going to lose weight, and everybody knows you don't lose weight by stopping eating.
So this is the thing, in the study that I found in preparation for this podcast, that was a gender difference that they found, is that the adolescent girls were more ready to restrict themselves, whereas the adolescent boys were changing their diet. They're just changing what they're eating, versus for us it's a restricting thing. It's I need to not eat this, I need to stop eat this, and for them it was like, I need to introduce more vegetables instead of this, or less sweets and introduce this instead, or what have you. And I was like, that is big facts. Every minute it's I can't eat this, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, versus I need to eat more of this.
I've actually never heard a man say them can't eat something, coming to think of it. Like, I've never heard a man say, I'm on a diet, I'm not gonna eat that.
It's because you don't know the vanity that is bleep.
I've seen, and I said, this is my experience, I've seen men say, like, I'm eating more of a certain type, as Kerri was saying, I'm eating more of a certain type of food because it's bulking season. It's cutting season.
And then shredding season.
But to be honest, I've never heard a man say, really and truly say, I'm going on a low carb diet. I'm cutting out carbs. No sugars for me. But that's so, as you rightfully said, that's so prevalent in the minds of women, girls and women, of all ages.
Because women are the ones who have to fit into what society has already dictated. For a man, they don't. They're the ones who dictated it. They're the ones who, the patriarchy got up and said, hey, the women must look like this, but man can just look like shit.
I'm tired of man, I ruin my life and my body.
Facts.
Sometimes I wake up upset just because my prime minister is a man for no reason. I'm just upset. He's a man. I'm pissed off. Right? So they don't have to restrict themselves. They don't have to deny themselves these things. And when you think about it, men do the simplest shit and they get what they want. They get the body that they want. the zero effort. And I'm just like, and if I get up one day and I say, yo, I'm dead for some KFC. You hear somebody say something like, no, you say you don't like your belly. No, you say
okay, and so
what else?
Mind your business. But that's another thing, this is how
mind your own plate.
Mind your own plate. But similarly, many are diets, many are meal plans, food plans, whatever. But as I was telling Tiana the other day, if I'm craving something, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm really craving a barbecue zinger, I am going to buy a barbecue zinger. I am not depriving myself of those things.
KFC
and I learned that because when I was abroad, I was studying abroad for a semester, and I was traveling in Europe, and that's just carbs. That is just carbs, and I was gaining weight. And I realized it when I would take pictures, to the point that I was away in these countries I've never been before, and who knows if I'm going to go back. And I did not want to see myself in any pictures. And I was like, you are a goddamn dunce. And you know what I did? That was even more dunce. I went on a juice cleanse. I went on a juice cleanse while I was abroad. I paid money to not eat food that I am probably not going to eat again because I didn't like the way that I looked in pictures. And one of my friends was like, what the hell? Like, you are abroad, enjoy it, eat whatever the hell you want. When you go home, if you want to lose weight, then lose weight. But she was like, enjoy it, enjoy the food. That's part of the experience of being over there.
Yeah.
And since then, that's when I was like, if I want to experience something, and food is such a big part of experiencing things like culture, I am not going to deprive myself.
I was actually going to say earlier, it just never happened. It never came out of my mouth. But I was gonna say, in traveling so much during college, like, you know, going to America and then coming back home to Jamaica and then going abroad and whatever, I actually felt like I was always in a state of longing for a certain food. Mm-hmm. So it was like, when I was going to, when I was home in Jamaica, I'd be like, can't wait for reach back up Poughkeepsie and go a Billy Bob's for 50-cent weeknights. Can't wait. Forget the bubble tea over at Twisted Soul. Like, there were certain things, like, I love McDonald's. My mother will tell you I invented the Golden Arches because I clearly had shares. I love those things. And so it's like, when I'm going to America, I'm so excited. Even now that as I'm prepping to go to America, like, I'm thinking of all the foods that I haven't had in so long that I'm so excited to eat again. And then it was like, when I was in America, it was like, Lord, I can't wait for reach home and eat a patty and get some KFC and da-da-da-da. And then it was like, when I was going to Trinidad, it was like, I can't wait to go over there and eat doubles and just have all of this, you know, food culture experience. So it's like, when I was abroad and I was putting on weight, it wasn't necessarily because I was eating more. It was really and truly because I just wanted to get all of these experiences in that I felt like I was constantly longing for, you know? And I mean, does it suck that I've put on weight after all of that? No. Yeah, it does. But at the same time, I do not regret it.
Oh, hell no.
Like, I do not regret going to Billy Bob's for 50-cent wings and having the boom boom sauce with the mac and cheese.
Absolutely not. That mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese slaps. So, like, yeah, and it comes back to what we were saying earlier about how people see you put on weight and it's like they don't even think of those other things. They don't think of you getting to have all of these food experiences is a once in a lifetime thing. And so maybe that's why you've put on weight, because you've decided to indulge in things that you don't know if you'll ever indulge in them again. Yeah. Or you're going through a stressful time because you're in school pursuing a math degree that's driving me crazy. So, you know, people don't think of those things. They just see you come home and the first thing they Speaking of which, stop greet people about them weights.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we eventually had to raise up. You need to stop it. You get fatty. Okay.
You lose weighty. I don't care. I don't. I know. I wake up every day and I look in the mirror every day. I promise you. That I have a mirror in my bathroom and a mirror in my bedroom and a mirror in my boyfriend's office. I see myself. I see it. You don't need to tell me. I got it.
Whether I put it on or I take it off, trust me, I'm aware.
Yep. Stop greeting people about their weight. Because again, it goes back to you don't know what is going on. When I'm stressed, I gain weight.
Same.
Because I have a friend who, when she's stressed, she loses weight. And my body just does not operate like that. So CXC, gain weight. Exam period, gain weight.
You have exam period every year.
Every year!
It just kept getting worse.
More than once a year. Let's not even.
It just kept getting... I think, and now that you bring it up, think about the fact that pandemic started last year, March 2020. And then school went online and I was in the final lap of my master's. And I was just home. I used to be in class frying chicken, like the Zoom would keep on me in the kitchen, and the teacher was like, Ashley, can you turn on the camera so I can, as I miss, I'm greasy, I'm in the kitchen frying chicken, right? And then stressed out about finishing your thesis, and then on top of all of that, people are dying. You don't know when this thing is gonna end, and then at that point, I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a job. Yeah. I was stressed out to the point where I was in a constant state of what felt like depression. I think that was my lowest point. And even though I got a job, it wasn't a job that I wanted. It was a job that I actually hated for most of the time I was in it. And the only thing that comforted me was food. It was, let me go fill my belly, so at least one thing is taken care of, so like one less thing I worry about. And I'm constantly in the house, what else am I gonna do? Right? So I was just eating, and I don't have no motivation to go outside and exercise. I mean, all this just to die? Why?
So I love that you bring that point up. All of this just to die. I saw a meme once that it was like, say you're on this kick to lose weight, that extra 5 pounds that you can't lose, that's your late night pizza after you coming home from the bar. That's you getting a drink with your friend after work. Like, it is experiences. Like, for some people, yes, it can be something different. It can be that we're eating for different reasons, or like, you know, just eating much more of things that, are, more likely to make you put on weight, etc. But it can just be experiences of I am going out and I'm living life, and that is just exhibited on my body. Because at the end of the day, when I die, I want to die knowing that I have lived and experienced and eaten all of the fried chicken that I can possibly eat.
Exactly.
I don't care if my body is gonna look like X in that casket. The bitch is gonna be in a casket.
Then buy a bigger one. Why think them make custom buy a bigger one.
Or cremate me.
Burn me.
Exactly.
Burn me.
Exactly.
You don't have enough space on a duff cup because people are burp on top of each other.
And guess
Burn
what?
me.
The more ashes, the more it can split up between people when they want to fight.
There you go.
I agree. Let me tell you something. And one of the reasons why I know I've come to terms with how I look and I've accepted how I am, because I feel like the person I am now internally and physically is as a result of everything I've gone through, in the past couple months. And it have a history, it have a foundation, and this is who I am because I went through these experiences. But I swear to you, me and Tiana were at a party. When was the last time party key? Probably summer 2019.
2020.
And a man looked at me and asked me if I was pregnant.
That's another thing. Do not ask women if they're pregnant.
He asked me if I was pregnant, and I looked at
If a woman is pregnant, she'll let you know if she's pregnant.
And I looked at Tiana and I was like, can you believe XYZ just asked me if I'm pregnant? And she probably don't even remember because you were off your ass at that party. You almost drowned, and then I almost drowned after you. Anyway, yeah. But he literally was like, you look like you're pregnant, man. And I was like, are you serious? And at that point, it kind of ruined the rest of the party for me because I was in a two-piece. I was enjoying myself before he said that, but now I'm self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
And in my head, was he the only one brave enough to say something to me? Was I just looking very pregnant on the beach, drinking rum, and everybody was watching and judging me? So immediately you close down, But then you reach a point where you say, yo, no baby, in this, I'm gonna drink all the rum I want, I'm gonna eat all the food I want because it's my own.
Mm-hmm.
Who go check me? Now you.
Yeah. But even as you mentioned pregnancy, someone paged my friend one time being like, Kerri's put on weight. Like, what happened? And I said, tell him I'm pregnant.
Simple.
I said, tell him I'm pregnant so he'll stop bothering me or like stop saying
Stop
things.
wondering.
And I was in a class that was talking about, like women who are pregnant and mothers, etc. And one of the things that women say when they're pregnant is that this whole thing with self-image, it changes because it's like, oh, now I'm pregnant. If I'm eating a cheeseburger, no one is going to say anything because I'm pregnant.
It's almost like liberation because it's
I'm
funny
not
because
gonna lie, I have had that thought many a time. I cannot wait to be pregnant so that people will stop harassing me about how much.
Because there's a part of you that you finally feel like you have control over your body now because you determine what goes in, even though you're making a space for someone else. But now you're literally free to violate all dietary restrictions that you had put on yourself before just because you thought that you had to fit into a certain size.
Yeah. You know what's something that has come across my mind too? Yeah, gaining weight and losing weight, whether through pregnancy or through working out or whatever is going on, through experiences, whatever. I think, you know how when people lose weight, we're taking it to social media. Mm-hmm. When people lose weight, like enough weight, and then transform them body and thing. You know how everybody makes that one post on Instagram that is always talking about what their story to where they got today. You know how they felt so unhappy with themselves and how they put in the work and da-da-da-da-da. There's always this story of triumph that a quote-unquote good body comes with, right? Why is there, and I shouldn't say why is there, but there is also a story of triumph that comes with putting on weight that people aren't allowed to express. You know, there's that story of, I just gave life. There's a story of, for the first time in my life, I got to travel and I got to enjoy things. There is a story of, for the first time in my life, I have a man that don't stress me out. There are stories.
Side note, if that is the quickest way for getting to lose the weight where you have fun, you just find somebody for sure. I'm telling you, draw down by next week, guaranteed. Tried and true. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. We'll never do it again, but
it's true, and
no
it's just
diet
like,
works better.
there's always this story of triumph that comes when you lose weight, but it's almost like you're never allowed to say, I gained weight because I'm living a fabulous life.
That's so true.
It's never, you're never allowed to say that. Why when you put on weight, you can't post a picture on Instagram that say, everybody look at my belly, guess what? Mama nah stress me out.
Oh my
Like,
God, that's my next caption. And I'm glad you bring it up, because I keep on comparing, you know, the dynamics between social media, dictations for women versus men. I dated someone once upon a time, and he's a heavier guy, belly big, and he loves to eat. Like, food was everything to him, and he used to love to post on social media, and he used to always put that one caption, and the caption say, I eat well. That's what he used to caption.
me so started that too.
He used to caption his pictures, I eat well, or I'm eating well, and he used to get a lot of engagement for it, and I don't think anyone ever once said anything to him about, oh, you don't afraid your belly get too big. And as a matter of fact, he embraced the fact that he was a bigger guy, you know, and he never once get up and say, yo, I gotta go on a diet because I need to lose this and lose that. But I feel like there was never any shame about, you know, all of the food that he was constantly eating, and not just the constant eating, but the portion sizes and the amount of greasy things he used to indulge in. But we are never awarded the same thing. We don't have that privilege.
But you know, so in thinking about, because you know, obviously the three of us here, our relationship with like body image and body size and food, I always felt like, as somebody who born and grew in Jamaica, I always felt like I was always being pushed and prodded to be smaller. That was always the goal. But I do know that in certain cultures, the goal is always to be bigger. There are certain cultures that are like that, where being bigger is celebrated, because, and it's funny what Ashley said earlier, that is the reason people who are bigger tend to be, it's an expression of wealth. It's an expression, exactly, healthy and wealthy. It's an expression of, I can afford to eat more food, so I look bigger. And it's, you know, there are cultures where it's seen as just attractive.
But you know, Tiana,
but before I go there, before you said something, when I was doing said research, I wanted to know what those countries were, and I found an article that said it was like 10 countries where being bigger is better, and Jamaica was on it.
Really?
that's what I was going to say to you, because I feel like you felt like you were being pushed to be smaller. And you and I grew up in the same country, and I felt like I was being pushed to be bigger. And I feel like so many different cultural expectations exist within same age groups and same generations. You just live a different life than I did, because growing up being smaller, it was always, you know, I eat some more food and put on a little weight. And when I started to lose the weight at an older age, you know, being smaller than the average person at that age, it was always, no man, you need to be a little thicker than that, you know, because the man them love the thick girl them and the big body girl them and the thick body whatever. And then you have, I think one of the shifts occurred when we had that iconic moment in dancehall, Fluffy versus Sim by Pete and Spice. And I feel like I saw
Spice was a slim girl?
I thought about that. The fact that Spice was a slim girl. Where else was a slim? The fact that Spice was a slim girl. And I feel like I watched a change growing up, and I saw when the ideal body was, you know, the skinny, the slender, and then I saw where men started to embrace thicker girls, and now apparently men are into fupas. Yeah, they're like, I'm seeing it on mostly on like Twitter, guys talking about how good morning to girls with fupas only. You know, wanting to, you know, be able to hold on to, grab on to, because apparently, I don't know what it signifies to them, but now that is what they find attractive.
That's a big woman body.
It could very much be associated with...
It's not a teenage girl body.
Yeah.
It's a big woman body.
But you know what I think is, and I am speaking from experience here, it sucks because maybe the reality is that Jamaica is moving towards is having that shift towards embracing thicker bodies, but I don't know if I will ever embrace it within myself, because I feel like because it was something that was ingrained in me from such a young age.
It's a lot to unlearn.
It's a lot to unlearn. That's the correct term. It's a lot to feel okay with being bigger, for me, honestly. And it also, like, seeing Jamaica on that list too, it begs the question of, I mean, to this day I still get comments about my literally the other day I went to the hairdresser. I have not seen my hairdresser in years because I have not had a reason to go to her, and so we're catching up because we haven't seen each other in so long. And one of the things she said to me was like, where you getting so big ago? Like, where you go with all of that weight? Like, leave that for the older people. You're young and da-da-da-da-da. And so it's like seeing Jamaica on that list and knowing that there are maybe a couple men out there. And, you know, if you go on Instagram, you see the whole everybody want ass fat. Yeah, no. Even though that's happening, there are still a lot of people who praise the skinny type. And so it begs you to wonder, like, whether you're skinny or whether you're fat, like, does it really matter your size? Because clearly people are just going to comment whatever they want. It's like when I was younger and I used to really be bothered. I mean, I still am bothered by it now, but of course it bothered me more when I was younger. People would always say, oh, it's just, them just want to talk about something. Them just looking for something to talk to. There are so many other things to talk about. Why is my weight the first, like, if you're looking for conversation, why is my weight the conversation starter? Why is anybody's weight the icebreaker? Like, look how much thing left to talk about in the world, politics.
And I can see someone arguing and being like, oh, but it's an appearance. It's the first thing people see. You can see my hair. You can see my eyes. You can see my hands. You can see so many other things.
Yeah, why is it that the first thing you have a comment on is something about even my physical appearance on a whole?
You could really just even be like, it's good to see you.
How have you been? Haven't seen in a while. There are so many other ways for you to go about it. And I mean, even the point you brought up a while ago, I'm just like doing some introspection here. Like, I'm probably going through a little existential crisis, as a matter of fact. But I remember being small and wanting to be bigger because I thought that guys would not be attracted to me because I'm skinny. Because I just saw them being attracted to every other girl, and every other girl was bigger than I was. And when I started putting on weight, even unintentionally, I started dating a guy who turns out his preference was girls who were significantly smaller than me. Me there with this big fat boy, and his skinny girls he wanted with him. His what he found attractive were girls who were very, very small.
Isn't that the tea?
Yeah.
And the suffocate on name.
Me say, damn 300 pound of those big eyes. Sure. But you know, and then I think it comes back to, was this a personal thing for me? Like, did I say I want to gain weight, or do I want to lose weight, or was it because, you know, at the time I felt like I was out of place. Growing up in high school, the girl them have big breasts, them fill out them uniform properly, and I didn't. And then now that when I sit down in the car and I drive, I can't close my pants button because it's too tight. Do I want to be skinny again? Do I think that guys are not going to be attracted to me because I'm so much bigger? You know, so you go through that debate of
what also sucks about that is that, what if it wasn't your appearance? Like, it doesn't have to be like, attraction is so much more than appearance.
Yeah.
So a man not talking to you or a man talking to you, it doesn't only have to be because of the body size. But that is always the first thing you go to.
But it's the same thing. Like, why is it that people have to comment on your physical first? It's like, I see that a guy is not attracted to me, or I see that all the girls who men are generally attracted to look different from I do physically. I don't get up and tell myself it's because I'm a bitch, nobody wants me. I don't tell myself it's because thump man in them face if them talk to me too rough, and other girls are not going to do that, so they'll accept a softer girl over me. No, I tell myself it's because my belly big and I don't have no breasts, and I probably have a couple cellulites on the back of my foot, and I see other girls who don't, and that's why them have man. Little do I know them probably they are being submissive, and I'm not like that. But the physical thing is what I'm gonna go to first.
Always, that's a very good point. We always go to something wrong with our appearance.
Yeah. So and then 9 times out of 10 it's something that you can't change about yourself.
9 times out of 10 they are the problem.
No, that's 10 times out of 9. 10 times out of 9, you the problem. To be honest, I think what I hate the most is the unwarranted comments and the responses that, why you have to comment on it? Why you have to, you notice that I gain weight, okay, and what about it? Why you feeling
like, why you going about it?
No, but why you have to go out of your way and say, yeah, put on weight, man, you need to be careful. What? Careful of what? Careful of what?
And I just always think that it's such a... There are two things. One, I think it's so disrespectful to tell people what to do. Like when people are like, you need to go lose some weight.
Nah.
You're commanding me to do something. You don't know me. You and I have never had a conversation about weight or anything else of that matter. Like, why do you think you have any authority to go and tell me what to do with my body? So that's the first thing. Second thing, why do you assume that because my body has changed that I don't like it?
That's true.
There is that also.
That is how I came to where I am now. Why you think that I don't like how I look just because I put on the weight? Or even if I had lost weight, why you assume that I don't like being skinny? You know? There is this thing that I always say on social media too, where people will like, I praise anybody who achieves the body that they want. If you lose all of the weight and you're perfectly sculpted and you're proud of it, show it off, flaunt it, it's your own, and I'm going to support you. But when it becomes condescension, that's a problem. You're going to look at me and say, me and you have the same 24 hours, so why I look like this and you look like that? And I've seen it become a trend now. It's like,
oh, it's definitely a trend within the health world.
Yeah, why is it that I can do this and I
you have no excuse for
you
not
have
having
no excuse because I
thing.
work 2 jobs and I have a kid at home and I have this and I have that and I do this and I do that, but I can still manage to achieve this. So what is your excuse? My excuse is that I don't want to look like you.
I don't want to, and I really have to circle back to, you don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many things that have a significant correlation with weight gain and weight loss. And I remember Khloe Kardashian did have this show, Revenge Body.
Yes, I remember that.
Where she like gets all these expensive people and like she deal with your food and your workouts and whatever. And there was this one woman who was on the show who wasn't losing weight. Like, they were, I don't know how long, I can't remember how long they were at it, but basically she wasn't losing weight. Mm-hmm. And she was like, we're gonna send you to a mental health specialist because it's obviously not the eating and the exercising.
There's something else.
There is something else going on. And I loved that. I was like, we don't talk about that enough. It's always, you need to stop eating this, or you need to eat more of this, or it's always food. And it's like, you have no idea how many medical and mental health issues, illnesses, whatever the politically correct term is, have a significant correlation with weight.
Yeah, and I feel like because all of us have had the experience where we've both gained and lost weight outside of, you know, factors associated with food, that we understand. Other people don't. They don't get the fact that there are exogenous variables outside of my relationship with food that causes me to gain weight, that causes me to lose weight. It's not because I love my belly, and it's not because I'm greedy or I'm gluttonous. It's because shit happens. I'm going through something.
But
right?
not even that, like your body just changes too. Hormones,
Your body betrays you.
Hormones play a very, very large role in your metabolic rate, and the composition of your hormones does not stay steady for your entire life.
I was just gonna say that for us, Rihanna said it. She has a privilege of a fluctuating body size.
Yeah.
And a lot of us women do. Every month we have a crazy hormone change.
Sorry.
Every single month.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I've been one weight for more than 2 days. It's constantly changing.
To be honest, that's why I, like, one of the things that I do now, I don't believe in the scale. I will say that. I don't believe in the scale. We can have a whole other podcast episode about the racism behind BMI.
Oh gosh, yes.
But I just think that people should just be able to enjoy the body, the one body that they have, the one body that has carried them. When I think about this body has carried me for 26 years. And it has not faltered me, apart from the one time I ate bad food and had to go to the hospital for food poisoning, and that's my fault because I yam the food.
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. Quite an experience.
Like, why can't I just enjoy that? You know,
you know what? Why it's so sad too? We don't get many days where we can actually look at our bodies and appreciate it and say, I'm so grateful for the body that I'm given. I'm grateful for the body that I have. Because if there are 7 days in the week, trust me, 4 days out of that, your body will piss you off. It's either the way you look, or the clothes fit you different, or you just feel terrible. You know?
Yeah.
So outside of that, why can't I just embrace the fact that I enjoy how I look now?
But then you know what's funny too? When bigger women do that, it's
a problem.
It's wow, she has so much confidence for her to let's
Is
talk
it
about Lizzo. Lizzo, for example.
She has so much
confidence. She's so XYZ.
Yeah.
But if I don't know, Bella Hadid was to go on Instagram and start shake up herself half naked and talk about she love her body, no one's gonna say anything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, she's gonna be like, we're
we're
so supportive of you.
People are gonna be like, goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goals.
I hate the fact that this whole Lizzo thing is like an actual topic of discussion, because somebody said to me the other day, Miss, how do you feel about, I said Miss, obviously one of my students bringing bullshit to me always, how do you feel about Lizzo and her body? I said, what do you mean about how I feel about
First of all, the
Lizzo
only person that needs to care about Lizzo and her body is
Lizzo.
Lizzo.
I was genuinely confused, and they're like, oh, Miss, you know how she's always flaunting her body, and I was like, but it's hers. Is it that she's not allowed to?
Also, something that really, really annoys me as well is that when you are bigger, people tend to assume that you eat terribly. Lizzo is a vegan.
Yeah, she is.
And she just hired Sean T as her personal trainer.
Oh shit!
Wow.
I love him. I love she puts him on her TikTok.
He's already
on TikTok.
Yes,
yeah.
They have already collabed on TikTok. There are several TikToks.
Amazing.
Lizzo, like literally, like when you follow, because first of all, everybody knows that Lizzo's, I think her Instagram is Lizzo Be Eaten, and
I never realized that.
and so
oh my god, it is. It's not Lizzo beating. It's
Lizzo Be Eating. And her TikTok is always about what she's eating. Like she and honestly, Lizzo eats so clean. So I think it's ridiculous that like people are gonna look at Lizzo and think that she's big because she's unhealthy, or she has unhealthy habits. No, she doesn't have unhealthy habits. If you follow her, you'll know Lizzo be eating, but she be eating good.
Yeah.
She be eating right, and she has my man Shanti as her new BFF.
My favorite. Yo.
They be doing the hip hop abs, I'm sure.
TikTok and Titan.
With Sean T.
Wow, what a time to be alive. That was a good time for us.
Wow, TikTok and Titan.
Remember how much TikTok and Titan we did for Carnival 2014?
Yes, that was TikTok and Titan time. Carnival 2014. And you know that also baffles me too. Like a lot of people who make comments about people's weight, they also don't like when people make comments about their weight.
Exactly.
So why are you purposefully trying to bring somebody else down like that with something that you know that you wouldn't even like? You know what that is? Bad man and grudgeful. You're dirty, you're dirty.
And you are a junk True.
Go drink some of Lizzo nature cereal because it have coconut water because you need to wash off your heart. You're dirty. You're dirty. You're a dirty person. And no matter how small you are or how thick you are, you could have looked like Kim Kardashian come more. Guess what? You're still dirty.
I'm just gonna say I agree. Share the same sentiments of my fellow co-hosts.
Retweet.
Cosign.
Alright guys, so the moral of the story is one, celebrate your body in whatever form it comes in. I think all three of us here on this podcast, we're not perfect. We're still learning how to celebrate our bodies as well. It's a journey, but I think what's important is that you acknowledge that this is the one body that you have and it carry you through so far, and it probably will carry you through for a lot longer. So celebrate it and be nice to it. Number 2, stop comment on people's body. Stop it. We will come for you. If you do, stop it. Just stop. Stop ruining people's day on purpose. It's not nice. It's not you're a bully. Anyways.
Yes.
Your mother should have teach you, if you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't
don't
say
say
anything.
anything.
Snap.
Number 3, don't deprive yourself of things that you want. If you want something, don't tell yourself you're not allowed to have it because it violates your diet restrictions.
Yeah.
Nah.
And as we always say, watch your own plate.
Mm-hmm.
Watch your own plate. And yeah.
Eat what you grow and grow what you eat.
Eat what you grow what you eat. Watch your own plate and don't not
Until you try
We need these things printed on our shirt.
Yeah.
Honestly.
WongaGyal
Try it.
podcast merch.
Merch coming soon.
Merch coming soon. Anyways, guys, as usual, please continue to wear your mask, sanitize, social distance, wash your hand. Just
And don't make nobody son stress you out till you lose weight.
facts.
Go find a man who will fatten you up and make you feel good.
Continue to be happy and healthy. Thank you, Kerri, for joining us for this riveting 5 billion hour discussion on something that I think is so important that a lot of people need to hear, and things that we have just needed to vent as well on the podcast. Careless Committee will be back.
Careless Committee continues.
continues.
Yes, Triple C.
Let's go.
Anyway, guys, remember to follow WongaGyal on Twitter and Instagram, and we're now on TikTok. So follow WongaGyal also on TikTok. The website is coming soon, so that will be coming. Soon. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.